All right, welcome back. So in this video, and this lesson I should say, pardon me, we're going to be talking about the home page features. So what does that mean exactly? What are features and why should I care, right? That's what you're asking. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Here's what I'm talking about. And we're going to kind of work backwards a little bit. We're going to go with the boring stuff first and then go to the fun stuff. Okay, so I'm going to start in the upper right hand corner. Okay, and so you can see here we have account. When I click on that, it's going to open up a web browser and take you to the Creative Cloud web application. So we don't need to do that. Okay, then we have this button right here, which is what's new. Okay, now when I click on that, you're going to see all these different what's new, and then it will show you, hey, what's new. These are what's new. Okay, now we're going to spend a separate amount of time on each one of these new features that they have in Photoshop. So we're not going to be covering that in this video, in this lesson, but we will be we will be covering this very soon. Just another day, another lesson. Okay, so I'm going to close that out. So we've covered really those two here. Then we have the search button. So when I click on this, I can search for stuff inside of Photoshop. Now, I've never really utilized this that much, but I understand the usage of it and I get it. Okay, so if you want to use the search, you can. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't really, I've never, I've been using this application a long time. I've never used the search bar for anything, ever. The cloud, here we go, cloud storage. So I have 2 gigs of 100 gigs used. Okay, so 2% of all the storage I have, I'm using on Creative Cloud. And you know how I feel about this. I talked about this in the Creative Cloud section of the course where we talked about storage. You can get 1 terabyte if you need to. You can upgrade for $9.99. But to start out with, 100 gigs is fine. That's plenty of space to get everything done that you need to. Okay. So that's really the top right hand corner here. Another thing, this right here, this little Photoshop button, this is a shortcut. Okay. So when I open a file, and I haven't done it yet, but you'll notice when I take my mouse off of there, the handprint goes away. The little finger goes away, you know. So when we have a project open, if I click on this, it's going to take us to the project and then take us back. So that's a shortcut that they added. That hasn't always been there. And if it has, I didn't notice. So, but I notice now because they've made it a little more obvious and they've made it a little more interactive, and I think it's great. Okay. So that covers kind of the top bar of the interface for the home page, right? Now we can hide suggestions, which I'm going to do. And let's talk about the home page, okay, and learn. So we'll talk about learn first. And the way that I think about learning is very simple. Learn, practice, improve, okay? What does that mean? That means learn as much as you can, as as often as you can, okay? So learn, practice, improve. Always be learning, always be improving, always be practicing. So this is the perfect place for that. If you want to learn more about Photoshop on top of what I'm teaching you here, you can go in here and you can start watching videos and do tutorials, and some of them are in the app, okay? So some of these you can actually follow along inside the app, which I think is awesome. Because when I learned Photoshop, they did not have any of this, okay? So I think this is a great tool, and it's highly productive and highly fantastic. So go for it, okay? Home. What's going to happen here is when you create any project, all of your projects will be showing up down here, okay? So right now there's nothing there because we wiped the application off my computer and then reinstalled it. So it's a default refreshed version, okay, which is fine. Then you have your files, Okay. Now, again, if you were following along with me, I wiped out all the files that I had and put them in here. Okay. And the reason why I did that is some of the stuff I need to delete and others has nothing to do with what we're doing. And when we start doing projects later down the line, we're going to have a Photoshop 2025 folder inside of the cloud. So I'm going to be creating project files inside of the cloud to make it easy to organize and to manage your projects. Okay. So we're going to talk about file management. We're going to talk about project management. All those things are very important. And this is not project management or file management. Okay. It's disorganization, but it's only 2 gigs and it's pretty quick and easy and painless to fix very quickly. Okay. Very quickly. So shared with you, again, this is just shared cloud documents, Lightroom photos. I don't have any in here. Okay, I do have 2, but I normally don't even have that. Deleted, these are files that I've deleted. After 30 days, they're removed. Okay. So again, there's not a lot here to discuss in terms of all of these options and whatnot. Okay. It's very basic and very easy to understand. But the one thing that I want you to understand and to kind of look at is a couple things. One, we're going to create a file right now. Okay. So we're going to go to new file and we're going to learn the difference between a local file and a cloud file. Okay. Now this has not always been the way that it is with Photoshop. It used to be nothing was on the cloud. Okay. Everything was on your local machine. And so there's pros and cons to that. Having everything locally on your computer is fine, but what if that computer crashes? You lose all your files. What if you lose all your files? With the cloud, what happens is now you have a redundancy on a different site, which is a data center basically, and you have redundancies where they have backups to backups to backups. So all of your files are preserved, okay, with that redundancy, and you can access it anywhere. So I can go to any computer in the world with the internet. I can log into my Creative Cloud account and look at those files and share those files, okay? Because if you look at one thing before we make that file, if I share a file, okay, it is going to pop up here. So if I have your email address, I can share a file with you and it will pop up here. And then you'll be able to access that file. So that's very important to understand because that allows you to be a little more remote. You don't have to be so connected and locked down to your office. You can be mobile, okay? You can have a mobile office. You have a laptop, you go to Starbucks, you go to a different state, different country, you log in, you have access to your files. So you can connect anywhere. So now let's create a file. So we're going to go to new file, and the presets I'm going to talk in depth in a different section. So we're not going to cover that right now. We're just going to learn how to create a file. So I'm going to grab the default Photoshop size, which is 7 inches by 5 inches at 300 pixels per inch. Okay, so it's a high resolution. And a white background. Now if I click here, I can do black, background color, transparent, and custom. So I'm going to do white. But if you do transparent, it'll be transparent. Actually, let's do transparent, just for fun. You can also do different orientations. So you have portfolio, which is like a selfie with your phone, standing upright, and then landscape, which is wide screen on your phone. Okay, so we have 7 inches by 5 inches, untitled 1. Let's call this test project. Okay, and I'm going to hit create, and there you go. So now we've made our first project. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can save this document. So I'm going to go to File, we're going to do Save As, and you have two options here. Okay, so you can save to Cloud Documents or on your computer. So for this example, I want you to save to the cloud. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to create a folder first, and I want you to do the same. Let's call it Adobe Photoshop 2025. Okay, and then we're going to put our project in here, and we could name it Project 1. How about instead of test project, we call it project number 1 dash basics. Something like that, so we kind of have a clear idea of what it is, right? Now, you can go a couple different ways with this. You can create a folder and then put it inside of there, or just have the files, project 1, project 2, project 3, etc. You know, and it will automatically put it in order. So I'm going to do project 1 dash basics, and there you go. And you'll notice I have a little cloud icon up here. And if you look at the PSDC, that stands for Photoshop Document Cloud. Okay. And if I do an offline, a local file, so let's go back to the home page here, and we'll do new file, and I'll show you the difference. So if I grab this and hit create, I'm going to go to File, Save As, and let's save it on our computer. So we called it project number 1 dash basics. Now you see it's a PSD file. So you have PSD, Photoshop document. I'm going to hit save, and now you see the difference. So we have just the name dash basics.psd, and here we have a cloud icon, project number 1 dash basics.psdc. Okay, and this will be refreshing a lot in terms of saving. This one is not going to be saving anymore. And there's another thing too. In the panels, they have a version history. So this is only relevant for cloud documents. So if you create a cloud document, and I created a save point at 1059, so if I save it again, it's going to auto, let's see. Okay, I have to do something to make it do that. So let's just do this. Okay, so now you see that there's a little asterisk here, right? So if I save, if I hit Command S, I should have another mark. I do. If I click here, it'll take me to the previous version. And we can revert to this version. So you can literally go back and revert back to your original idea if you wanted to. And we can delete this, I believe. Actually, no, I can't delete it. That's bizarre. But I can add this to it. And if I wanted to add the gradient, I could just do it here. And I don't have to go and grab the gradient tool. I can just do it right here. So it's basically taking a snapshot of all of the steps that you've made at this time frame to be able to create that gradient. And if I just click here and let's see, let's revert to this version. I'm literally changing the project without really doing anything. It's just things I've already done. Okay, so I'm going to revert back to this. And now we have 5 save points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 different places that I can go to, okay, to access whatever it is I'm trying to do. Now, I don't want to do that. I want to keep everything like this. No, they don't let me delete it, so that's fine. I'm going to close this panel for right now. But if you want to see where that is, you just go to Window and go down to Version History. And we can minimize it and open it here. So we'll leave it on the toolbar here so you can get easy access to it. Because that's an important tool when you're dealing with cloud documents. Okay, and so you can see if I click here, it's going to drop it there, which is fine. That works. So I will put it back to here because I don't want to use up all of our space for that. So that's how you create a new file. Okay, and that's the difference between a local file and a cloud document. Okay, I know it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun too, right? So let's close this, and then I'm going to click on open. This is the final thing we're going to go through. So when I click on open, I can open a local document that's on my computer, or I can open up a cloud document. So I'm going to go to your files, that'll be Photoshop 2025, and I'm going to click on project number 1-basics. So there you go, my friends. You have learned how to create a file, open a file, create a cloud document, and create a local document. Okay? We've learned how to create a folder inside of Creative Cloud storage, which is your file area. And we talked about all this stuff right here, the home page, and all the features that are available to you, and everything that we're going to be looking at in the upcoming lessons as well. So I thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next lesson.